In class, we talked about two different types of special triangles. The easy ones were the 45, 45, 90s. However, this video talks about the ones that are a little bit more challenging, which are the 30, 60, 90s, which refer to the degree measurements within the triangle, which are 30, 60, and 90. In class, we proved the relationship between the sides. This video, however, is just going to show you how to use what we already learned, which is that if you know one side of these triangles, you can easily solve for all of the other sides. Now, my recommendation for these triangles is that you should always go through the shorter side. Meaning that if you have the short side, you can always double it to find the hypotenuse. And then you can always multiply it by √3 to find the long leg. If you don't need to find the short side, it's just really helpful to always go through it because it's easy to divide by 2 to get the short side, to go from hypotenuse to short. It's easy to get rid of the radical 3, etc. So we're going to use these 3 examples really quickly, and I'm going to show you how to go through the short side to find all the other lengths. And we're going to start with an example where we have the short side. So the short side here is 5, and as we know, the hypotenuse is always double the short side. So that's easy, it's 10. And then the longer leg is always the shorter leg times √3. So that's pretty easy. So now you can see why it's really good to have the short side in order to solve for these. Now in the second example, we have the hypotenuse, which is 10 √2. I threw a radical in there just to try and freak you out. However, if you still look, the shorter side is always going to be half the hypotenuse. So it doesn't matter if there's a radical in there, it doesn't matter if I put something else, a variable in there, it's going to be easy. Just divide it by 2, and you end up getting 5 radical 2 for this one, for the shorter side. Then, to go from the short side to the long leg, you simply multiply by radical 3. And again, there's a radical in there, but it's not so hard. You just take 5 √2, and you multiply it by √3. And we know how to deal with radicals. You multiply the numbers that are inside the radical and keep the ones outside by themselves, and we get 5 radical 6, which we can't simplify any further. So there we have it for the longer leg. Now for the final example, we're given the long leg. And in order to get to the hypotenuse, again, it's a really good idea to go through the short leg. So to go from long leg to short leg, instead of multiplying by radical 3, we're going to divide by radical 3. And when you divide 6 radical 3 by radical 3, the 2 radicals cancel because they're the same thing, and we end up getting 6. And then it's really easy to get the hypotenuse because we just double the short leg and we get 12. So there you go. This is how to solve 30, 60, 90 triangles. And again, the key is to always write down this little diagram at the top of any test or quiz so that you know what you're doing. And then once you've done that, always go through the short leg.